Last caller, Lee in Pennsylvania. You're on the air, Lee.
Hi, Alex. Clifford. I have a news release I just sent over to Alex's website. It's about oily gunk on homes. Oily substances on Saturday were showered upon their homes and cars, and it's a oily residue that all the neighborhoods, the whole township, got sprayed with some kind of mist. And
well, that happens all the time, and they try to claim that it's, sewage matter from malfunctioning planes, but what do you do when a whole town gets covered with green or black goo? Clifford, we've seen hundreds of these cases. What is that?
I can't speak for an oily residue, but what I can speak for is a failure. No matter what the material is, if you have airborne materials that are unexplained, that pose a potential health risk or a potential pollution risk, it seems quite reasonable that those environmental agencies should be responsible for analyzing them.
Well, exactly.
EPA has failed us tremendously on this regard.
Well, exactly. Fish and Wildlife comes out and tests every week for the fish and all these other groups running around, but why won't they test this?
The EPA refuses to test this filament material, fibrous material that I'm speaking of. They refuse to test it.
What do they say when you talk to them?
Pardon me, Alex?
What do they say when you talk to them?
Boy, folks should look into their correspondence. I have it all on the website. Their classic line was, we refuse to analyze any unsolicited material, basically saying if they didn't ask for it, they don't have any obligation to identify it. That's what they said.
Now, you've done some tests, haven't you?
I've done quite a bit of testing. That's a big part of my work over
What have you found the spider webs are?
Well, first would be they're not spider webs. They are a most unique filament. They don't satisfy any natural explanation whatsoever. They are at the submicron level. Asbestos fibers are 2 microns or less. Most fibers are 10, 12 microns. These things are submicron in size. There are biological components that have been repeatedly identified within these fibers. We don't know what they are properly, but I've done quite a bit of analysis. And my work is up there. There probably is 300, 200 pages, I would guess, at least, analysis of these fibers up there. Are you still there, Alex? Yeah, okay, so I may have been cut off there, but there's been quite a body of research that's been done there to analyze it from the perspective that I can. A private lab was consulted at one point at paid cost, and they issued a report which could clearly be shown to be false. They were addressed in person for the failure of that report, and they terminated that meeting at the very early part of it. They said this meeting is now over as soon as I raised the objections as to why that report was false.
Alex Jones here via telephone. We'll try to work this out. This only happens when we have key guests on, but I'm sure it's us. I'm sure it's all a technical thing. Clifford, in closing here, I want to thank you for coming on and joining us today. I really appreciate you spending time with us. Go ahead and give out that toll-free number for people to get a copy of your film.
Alex, thanks very much for all that you've done today. I appreciate it very much. This phone number is for Harriet Fell. She is helping to get this documentary out at cost. There is no profit to be made with this. The phone number is 1-800-335-7226. And I appreciate that very much.
You bet. Where do you see things going in the future, Clifford? You say you're working on something new. In closing here, give us an idea what it is.
This issue of this disease that has emerged over the past several years, the popular term being given is Morgellons disease. There's a serious topic of research here that needs a lot of help, and I may be contributing to that.
Do you think the two are connected because we have the reports of these tiny fibers, and then that's what's reported to be coming out of skin, and then we have real serious doctors talking to people and removing it where clearly there's been no incision, it's just somehow in them?
It's possible they're connected, and I guess that's the very question. I'm not trying to draw a connection before it's there, but I think it's valid to raise that question. And what we can say is that that issue is being managed. The Morgellons issue is being managed exactly in the same way that this issue has been managed, basically calling people delusional.
All right, Clifford Carnicom, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a whole lot, Alex.
You bet. It is not delusional that they knowingly for 10 years put AIDS virus and HIV in hundreds of thousands of hemophiliacs' blood supply here in the U.S., tens of thousands in Canada, and hundreds of thousands worldwide. It is not a conspiracy theory that they gave black men syphilis. It is not a conspiracy theory they nerve gas U.S. troops. It is not a conspiracy theory. So all of this is open for discussion. And anybody that tells you you shouldn't look into something, has got a serious problem. We'll be back with the final segment. Infowars.com is the website.